The movie starts with a big problem. America is in a civil war, and it's causing a lot of damage. But some journalists are brave enough to talk to the president at the White House, even though he's taken a lot from them. At the president's press conference, he says they're almost winning because of his bad choices. But those choices have caused a big war all across America. He's happy about this victory, saying it's the first time something like this has ever happened. In the middle of a civil war, Lee, a famous white lady who takes pictures, is really upset watching the president's talk. She's in a car with Joel, a reporter from South America. They're heading to a protest where people are mad at the government, but the police are being mean and hitting them. While all this is happening, Lee is taking pictures of the unfairness. She's not alone. Lots of other journalists are there too. Even a young photographer named Jessie is risking her life to take pictures. Sadly, Jessie gets hurt, but Lee helps her get out of danger. By looking at Lee, she is surprised because she is in front of her ideal personality. Soon, Lee realized something was going to go wrong, so she bent the girl down. As she had expected, an explosion appeared, and the result was obvious because dead bodies were lying on the ground. By recalling her duty, she gets a grip on the camera and starts taking breathtaking pictures. Besides, Jessie is busy catching her breath, and she also takes photos of her idealizing figure, who is none other than Lee. Later, Lee, Joel, and Sammy, an older African-American journalist who works for what's left of the New York Times, are talking. Suddenly, the internet goes out, and Lee, who was uploading a video, stops. She tells Sammy that they're heading to Washington, D.C. to interview the president. Sammy is worried because it's very dangerous. He says they could get shot just by being there, and the president won't be easy to talk to. But Joel convinces him to come, saying it's a great chance for them, even though it's risky. Lee gets annoyed with Sammy's excuses and walks off to her room to upload the video. On her way, she meets Jessie, who tells her how much she admires her. Lee listens politely but doesn't have much to say to a teenager, so she moves on. Little does she know, they'll have more to talk about in the future. After her bath, Lee can't find any peace. Images of innocent people dying fill her mind. The next day, they're getting ready to head to Washington, D.C., but Lee is surprised to see Jessie in the car. She tries to convince Joel not to take Jessie because she's too young. But Joel sees Jessie's passion, similar to Lee's, and wants to give her a chance. Lee knows she can't change Joel's mind, so she reluctantly gets in the car. As they start the journey, Sammy and Joel pretend to have a conversation, with Joel acting like the president and Sammy asking questions. Soon, they notice how beat up the cars are, imagining the struggles of the people who own them. They stop to get gas for emergencies. The gas station owners are cautious at first, but after explaining why they need gas, they agree to help, especially after Lee offers them money. Suddenly, Jessie gets out of the car because she sees something and wants to check it out. Another person goes with her. They're shocked to find two men hanging in the air, badly hurt from a beating. The person who hurt them is there too, showing no remorse. Lee arrives and asks the man to stand with the injured guys so she can take his picture. Meanwhile, Jessie is terrified, but Lee gets her back to safety without any harm. In the car, when she comes to her senses, she feels bad for not helping. Joel says they couldn't have saved them because they were meant to die. Lee advises not to get involved in other people's problems by asking too many questions. She's harsh because she didn't want the girl to come along. The girl starts crying because Lee is right. They see the massacre and dead bodies outside. Lee tells the girl to get out and take pictures of a crashed helicopter. She realizes she's been too harsh and tries to be kind to Jessie. Lee warns Jessie that this journey could be dangerous, with the risk of explosions or getting shot. Jessie is shocked because she didn't expect the journey to be so risky and demanding. They are 508 miles from Washington, D.C. Then Lee admits she wants to take a break from it all, but feels she can't run away. Joel joins them and suggests getting closer to watch a fire, despite Lee's hesitation. Seeing Joel's excitement, Lee agrees. Joel talks to Jessie about their plans for the next morning, but they decide not to take her. Jessie protests, saying she won't stay behind, but Joel will soon realize she won't give up easily. The next day, they're with the Western Alliance, fighting government officers. Their target is a boy hiding behind a pillar, wounded but still fighting. Lee, Joel, and Jessie are protected by the Western Alliance. They fight, but can't save their comrade who was shot for joining them. A Western Alliance officer tries to help him, but he's bleeding badly. They sneak inside a building, keeping an eye out. Lee and Jesse keep their cameras ready. They see a wounded officer and shoot him without listening to him. Then, they capture the rest of the officers. They take the officers outside and shoot them, even after they're dead. After taking their last photo, they move on. Next stop, West Virginia, 289 miles away. In the tent, people are going about their lives, approved by an officer to eat at the canteen. Lee worries about Jesse not having food, but Jesse already has some. Jesse knows Lee became famous in college for her amazing pictures and became the youngest photojournalist. To pass the time, they look at the pictures, feeling nostalgic. Lee encourages Jesse to see them. They find a great picture Jesse took, and Lee praises it. After a memorable time, they're ready to move on. They soon arrive at a peaceful place, like heaven, with no sign of the Civil War. Joel feels like he's entered another world. Suddenly, they stop the car before a shop. Here, he asks the girl reading a book about what's happening. These people avoid politics and believe in peace. Jesse picks out a dress for Lee, insisting she tries it on. Lee does, and Jesse takes a beautiful picture of her smiling face. After a nice time, they continue their journey. They're now 176 miles away and reach Wonderland, which is empty. Before they can relax, they're shot at. Luckily, they survive and see officers shooting at a house. They realize someone in the house is shooting back at them. Jesse takes pictures while he helps the injured person on the ground fall asleep. While driving, Lee notices someone recklessly following them. It turns out to be Tony, their friend and colleague in the press field. Tony flirts with Jesse and hops into their car, showing his adventurous side. Jesse wants to join in, so she gets in their car. Tony drives off with them, and Jesse disappears from their sight. Lee is worried about Jesse getting too close to Tony. Suddenly, they see the car, but it's empty, doors left open as if they were taken forcibly. They follow quietly and realize government officers have captured them, killing many and burying them. Lee can't bear the thought of Jesse dying like this, so she decides to move ahead despite Sammy's warning. Tony and Joel join her, ignoring Sammy's advice. For ruthless officers, claiming to be Americans, kill their captive and Tony, who is unable to speak up. The officers then target Joel, but before they can shoot him, Sammy heroically intervenes, crushing one of the officers under the tires. The shocking scene leaves Jesse and Joel in a state of panic. Sammy, wounded, reveals he can't drive anymore. They switch seats, and Joel takes the wheel. Sammy's injuries prove fatal, and he dies soon after. They manage to escape the pursuing officers, but Joel is consumed by anger and grief, while Jesse is physically ill from witnessing the murders. They eventually reach the safety of the Western Alliance camp, but the loss of their friends weighs heavily on them. Joel is particularly upset, feeling Sammy's sacrifice was in vain. The camp is bustling with activity as preparations are made to attack the White House. Lee comforts Jesse, who is silent and shaken by the close encounter with death. Lee also worries about losing Sammy, a man full of wit and inspiration. As a helicopter takes off, Lee observes the cars, one of which is covered in blood, being cleaned at night. The Western Alliance forces, including Lee and her team, enter Washington, D.C. and are protected by the force. Lee feels overwhelmed, but Jesse remains active, taking photos amidst the chaos of gunfire and explosions. A Western Alliance helicopter arrives, destroying enemies and allowing them to move and take more pictures. Lee feels terrible, but Jesse continues to risk her life to capture the aftermath of the bomb blast. A soldier informs them they're not here to capture the president, but to eliminate him on the spot. Suddenly, two cars attempt to flee from the White House, but forces prevent their escape. They're captured, and upon exiting the cars, they're shot without hesitation. Meanwhile, Lee realizes the president is still inside the White House. She, Jesse, and Joel attempt to enter, but they're chased by officers and blocked by presidential guards. Amidst the gunfire, Lee regains her senses and takes photos as they advance. The president's secretary tries to calm them, but they demand to see the president. When she refuses, they shoot her, and she falls. Lee and Jesse bravely face their enemies, following their passion despite the danger. When Jessie tries to take a picture outside of cover, Lee saves her by pulling her down. Sadly, Lee gets hit by Jessie's bullets, and Jessie captures her final moments on camera. They find the president hiding and prepare to shoot him, but Joel stops them. He considers the president unimportant and steps away, allowing the officers to kill him while Jessie takes a picture. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please do like and subscribe to our channel.